Let me start on the protocols already observed and just greet everybody. Good morning. I didn't give my bio to the moderator, but for what it's worth, except for the fact for the position that I'm currently holding within the MTA, but for what it's worth, I have a diploma from the Polytechnic of Namibia in Accounting and Finance, a BTech degree in Cost and Management Accounting from the Cape Peninsula University of Technology, a Management Development Certificate from the University of Stellenbosch, and a postgraduate diploma also from the University of Stellenbosch. I'm one of the 4 people that were responsible for the implementation of the VET Levy. My other 2 colleagues are also around, whereas we actually were the leading role, playing the leading role in the implementation of the levy. Our GM at the time has left for greener pastures. So without further ado, let me just go into the reason as to why I'm here this morning. I'm going to look at the background of the MTA, the purpose of the VET Levy, compliance requirements, punitive measures, exemptions, the allocation of the funds, the eligibility and management of the 50% grant, the key priority grant, successes of the fund, the challenges, as well as the action plan for the way forward. Who is the MTA? The MTA is a state-owned enterprise that is under the auspices of the Ministry of Higher Education, founded through the Act of Parliament. Our mandate is threefold. It's a regulation, service provision and funding of the TVET sector. My 2 colleagues of yesterday looked at the regulation and the service provision. I will be focusing on the funding with key focus on the VET Levy. So the purpose of the VET Levy was to create a public private partnership with the industry, and also to create or to provide opportunities for needed information in regards for TVET skills needed in the country, as well as providing funding or assisting the government in funding the TVET in general. So the legal basis of the levy was through the VET Act, as well as then the regulation which was passed in 2014, which led to the implementation of the VET Levy. All companies that operate in Namibia that has a payroll of $1 million and above are required to register and pay the VET Levy. In terms of compliance requirements, thank you, Honorable Minister, for joining us. The requirements are that eligible employers should register and pay the levy. Employers are required to send a declaration and to submit a declaration, as well as payroll reports to the MTA, and make timely payments on or before the 20th of every month. There are punitive measures for employers that do not pay the levy on time, or if employers fail to submit the necessary requirements to the MTA on time. In terms of the land payments, there is interest at a rate of 20% per month, calculated daily as per the provision of the regulation. And there is also a once-off penalty of 10%. There's additional revenue that comes in because of these punitive measures is added to the key priority grant. For late submission of returns, we charge a $250 penalty. Exemptions, there are companies that are exempted from paying the levy. There's 11 categories, the state being one of them. Even though the state is exempted from paying the levy, the state is actually contributing to the funding of VET through an annual subvention to the NTA. Other institutions that are exempted are regional councils, charitable organizations, faith-based organizations, local authorities, etc. The fund is split in 3 allocations. 50% of the money that we collect goes back to the employers that are paying the levy. This is one platform that provides or that strengthens the public-private partnership and also helps the NTA then to also gather the necessary information in terms of TVET skills that are required by the industry. The other portion is the 35%, which is used for key priority grant. This grant is wholly managed by the NTA, and 15% goes for the administration of the NTA. Eligibility and management of the 50% grant. Every employer contributing to the VET levy is eligible to claim back up to 50% of the contribution they have made for the year. An employer wishing to apply for ETG is required to submit evidence of implementation of training, evidence of actual cost of training, and if employers did not claim the full 50% that they are eligible for, these funds are also swept to the key priority grant. The maximum payable, as I've mentioned earlier on, is only up to 50%. In terms of eligibility criteria, an employer wanting to participate in the 50% employer training grant must be registered and paying the levy. They must be in good standing in terms of the levy and also submit an application to the NTA. Claimable training is formal external training up to NQF level 6, on-the-job training, job attachment, internal or in-house training. Now for the key priority grant, as per the VET Act, the NTA has to provide financial and technical assistance to employers, vocational education training institutions, employees, learners, and any other bodies. The NTA is required to fund vocational education and training programs and projects. But how we fund this, apart from the government subvention and donor funding, is also through the provision of the key priority grant, which was established through a government consent of 2014. Currently, we have 6 areas that are approved for funding. There's an implementation of skills development plan, which looks mainly at the provision of training grants to trainees, training of trainers, which was a hot topic for the past 4 days, support to local VTPs to establish production units, which was also highlighted earlier on by Mr. Kapinta yesterday, the implementation of recognition of prior learning, as well as the implementation of apprenticeship. Another area that we look at is the TVET transformation expansion strategy, which is mainly focusing on program expansion, because as you are aware, we really had limited programs in terms of TVET, but now we are expanding. In terms of expansion, we also focus on rolling out more TVET centers in all 14 regions of 14 political regions of the country. Then another focus area is the TVET advocacy, which focuses on the Leave Your Passion program, which is running. I hope everybody is aware of that. And also the World Skills competition that the NTA participates in. 2 years ago, we hosted a successful World Skills competition for Africa. Another area is the inclusion of people with disabilities in TVET streams, which is also a key requirement, which was also highlighted yesterday by one of the speakers. Entrepreneurship and the support towards reintroduction of TVET in schools. We all are aware that after independence, somehow TVET was removed from schools, but now we are working to get it reintroduced in schools. So the process for identification of priorities follows this process, where priorities are identified by the industry skills committees. Then it gets validated by the broader industry, and after that, then it's presented to the board, who would then do the approval before we roll out, and it's actually a continuous process. In terms of funding criteria, when it comes to training institutions, we have 2 categories. One is new training institutions that are coming on board, and then we also fund existing training institutions. So we have specific requirements. One of 4 key requirements are that institutions must be registered with the NTA and be accredited by the NQA. They must be linked to applied qualifications, areas identified to be of high demand, because remember, this is a key priority grant. So in order to participate, you must focus on areas that are in demand. You must achieve assessment competencies, as well as then prove that you have a capacity to enroll new intake, as well as be able to continue with training. So for new training providers, those ones are not really required to provide assessment competency rates, because if you're coming for the first time, then you don't have that information. However, after your first year of funding, you have to provide proof that you are competent enough and deserving of continuation of funding. The funding procedures involve identification of priorities, we send out notices into the market. Then after receiving applications, obviously an evaluation process takes place. Notifications then goes out, and then after that, then signing of agreements, recruitment, and then monitoring and evaluation. And obviously it's a continuous process. In terms of successes, so far we have managed to register 3,200 employers that are registered and continue to pay the levy. Since the inception of the levy, we have collected approximately 3.2 billion. But please know that more than 2/3 of the funds have already been spent. The remaining less than 1/3 is already committed. There is continuous registration of employers as awareness is increasing. We have implemented various new projects, such as the web integrated learning that the former speaker was speaking about, the recognition of prior learning, and then the awareness creation of TVET in general, which speaks to work skills competition, as well as the If You Pursue program. We have fostered stronger public-private partnership through continuous collaboration, more job attachment opportunities for the TVET trainees has been realized. We have implemented new qualifications. Examples are accounting technicians, real estate agents, insurance intermediaries. These are programs that did not exist in the TVET before. In terms of supporting employers, the TVET or the VET Levy platform has actually created better reporting and better training plans, thereby enabling employers to do better reporting to the Employment Equity Commission. In terms of challenges, as with any system, there are always challenges. And for the levy, our biggest challenge is inadequate ICT systems, the fact that funding is never enough. One of the first presenters of the first days could not have stated it better when she stated that funding TVET does not come cheap, because you don't just require a room and an instructor, but you also require training material, consumables, you require equipment, and as such, it makes it very expensive to fund TVET, and funding is not enough. Currently, we experience a bloated structure due to manual work because of not having an ICT system. Likewise, with other institutions, we also have legislative challenges that require more clarification and expansion in certain areas. We have a problem with some eligible employers avoiding to register and pay the levy. We also experience delayed audits and also the inability to endorse completeness of revenue due to poor collaboration between sister institutions. For example, Inland Revenue, now NAMARA, and Social Security. These institutions would actually be our partners. In terms of action plan, we are urgently in the process of acquiring an ERP system.
We are in constant engagement with the industry to assure compliance. During the past 2 years, we have had the opportunity to appoint compliance inspectors, making sure that more employers come on board and that we find those that have been running away and not paying the levy. We are busy working with the ministry to work on the alignment of legislative matters. We have more consultative engagement with relative industries to best align resources. We are searching for more funding sources, such as donor funding and other revenue streams. We are also in consultation with our sister companies that I mentioned earlier, like the Social Security and NAMRA, to try and foster relationships and improve collaboration so that sharing of data and information can become easier. Thank you.